times are gonna be in Waylon Mercy's hands. You know what I mean?
What's up, guys? Our Wrestling Podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Justin Little Package and Uncle Cuz, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic: whatever happened to Dan Spivey? For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. Can you do us a solid on social media and give us a follow on Instagram at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast? Jess, this should be fun.
What episode is that?
What happened to Dan Spivey?
Oh my God, Dan Spivey! Nobody talks about Dan Spivey, but
Dan Spivey's fantastic.
He has a personality, or one of his characters is something that we all kind of liked. And up until a certain gentleman by the name of Bray Wyatt came out and did a bigger character of it, we started getting reminded of it. We're like, oh my, this is just like something that Dan Spivey used to do.
You can't tell me that Bray didn't look at some Dan Spivey and go, that could be influenced.
Well, you're going to get along here. Actually, there was a conversation between the two. You're going to get along here. So
you're going to see it. Yep.
Hey, let's do it.
I almost blurted it out right now.
Let's go.
Almost end the episode right now.
We'll just jump it right in. Don't bury the lead too much. Well, Spivey was born in Tampa, Florida on October 14th of 1952. Oh, my.
Tampa.
He attended the University of Georgia, where he played football for the Georgia Bulldogs for 3 seasons as a defensive end and was named an All-American football player in his sophomore year. Spivey aimed to play football professionally and was drafted by the New York Jets, but was forced to change his plans after suffering a severe knee injury in his junior year. All great wrestlers bust their knee in the NFL.
All great wrestlers blow their knees out at football and then go
playing football. And that's a big motherfucker to be playing football.
Yeah.
That's a big boy. Spivey spent several years working in a number of jobs in Tampa before meeting professional wrestler Dusty Rhodes, who offered to train him to wrestle.
Let me train you real quick.
That's not. Hey, baby, let me train you real quick.
Come on, baby, let me train you. Come on,
it'll be good. You're a big boy. We can do something with you. In his early years, Spivey teamed with Scott Hall, and they were called the Scott Hall. They were called American Starship. It's kind of a big deal.
We'll meet Scott.
Don't know where you've been. After a brief stay in the Crockett promotion, he would sign with the WWF in 1985 and team with Mike Rotunda. That's interesting. Replacing Barry Windham and the U.S. Express. They would last until 1987 as a mid-card tag team.
About to enter the ring area at a total combined weight of 511 pounds, Mike Rotundo, Golden Boy Danny Spivey, the U.S. Express.
A very impressive tag team, no doubt of that. However, the magnificent Morocco and Cowboy Bob Orton were not impressed.
Who is Mike Rotunda? Who is his sons?
He was the Berserker, and the Berserker was what?
What?
I'm just kidding. Everybody knows who IRS is. Come on,
baby. Yeah, IRS.
And he's the father of
sons
Tony Atlas. So
Tony Atlas.
I was way off on all that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it. Spivey will remain in the lower mid-card as a singles wrestler until 1988. He would leave the promotion and go to All Japan Pro Wrestling.
All wrestlers go to All Japan.
Yep. In 1991, Spivey would testify that George Saharan had illegally supplied him with anabolic steroids in the late 80s. Oh, no. That's terrible. While he was wrestling for All Japan, he... Not George, but Spivey would simultaneously wrestle for WCW from 89 to 1992.
No offense against Dan Spivey, but even if you look at Dan Spivey in his prime, he should sue him for like product that didn't work.
Yeah,
because Dan Spivey never he was big naturally. He didn't need it.
So
it's like, I don't think there was ever a time where I looked at Dan Spivey going, "That motherfucker's on roids." Never, not one time.
Yeah,
never thought about it.
He's all fuck.
So he should be suing for like faulty product. Like this shit doesn't work.
That's what I'm saying. He was mostly known at a time as teaming with Sid Vicious as the Skyscrapers. He would also challenge Lex Luger for the U.S. title in 1990. He was unsuccessful, in case you didn't know that. Spivey rejoined the WWF in June of 95, adopting the name Waylon Mercy and a character based on Robert De Niro's portrayal of Max Cady in the 1991 remake of Cape Fear. I'm doing a Cape Fear. I can't help it. I watch too much stuff. Sorry. Like Cady, he had jet black hair. He wore white attire with a Hawaiian shirt and sported several strange tattoos, including one of a dagger on his forehead. Spivey's were obviously temporary. He didn't make those permanent.
I thought they were real.
Oh, darn it. The character was introduced to the series of vignettes that always had Spivey speaking in a calm yet sinister manner.
Hey, people, guess what? It's Waylon Mercy again. Ain't it something? I'm out here on the beach, up here on the lifeguard stand. Now, I know you people must think that's kind of peculiar, but what the heck? Waylon Mercy is out here protecting people from drowning or whatever. You know, the funny thing is that when I get to the WWF and I get in that ring, the wrestlers that get into that ring's lives are going to be in Waylon Mercy's hands. Have you thought about that? You know what I mean?
In the final vignette before premiering the character in ring, Spivey predicted that soon lives are going to be in Waylon Mercy's hands, a phrase that would later feature in his interest music. Spivey portrayed a heel despite his character acting as a peaceful Southern gentleman outside the ring. Waylon would shake the hands of the fans and thank them for coming to see him wrestle. His opponent, even the referees before his matches, however, once the bell rang, he became absolutely vicious, insincerely apologizing for actions as kicking or choking a down opponent. Mercy's finishing move saw him apply a sleeper hold as he revealed a wide-eyed, insane expression. Once the bell rang, he would return to his peaceful Southern gentleman act.
It was so multi-layered, and the
vignettes.
vignettes.
This is VCAM all over it. We make movies.
I'll never
pal,
forget the
right?
vignettes either. Just him at a park, and he's like,
vignettes were
"Look at
amazing.
all these people playing behind me. They're gonna eat the watermelon. They're gonna eat the picnic. Like they're gonna eat the barbecue. Like." And he was just always, or the one with the bug crawling on his arm. And he slaps the bug or whatever. He's like, "I don't want these wrestlers crawling on me." Like it was so ahead of its time, and we've actually featured this
Oh, yeah.
character on an episode that we did early on called "Ahead of Its Time."
Yep.
Yeah.
And I want to we featured Goldust too in that, but Waylon Mercy was really ahead of his time. And Dave will go on too. He was injured already, like when he went in here. I guess he kind of fooled all of them in WWF, and when he got there, like his hips were really bad. So they were actually going to push him, like to do. I don't know about winning a title, but Waylon Murphy is going to be like a big deal for Vince. Vince really liked the
he would have been
character.
fed to somebody for sure.
And yeah, so but I guess like he couldn't keep up. Like his hips were so bad, he ended up having to leave to get hip surgery, and he just left the WWF at that point, which is really a shame. Because when you look at Bray Wyatt's character, and Dave, you're going to get there. Just, I mean, this little blip on the radar. He was only around for like 6 months, maybe 8 months, something like that. And
So good,
I
though.
remember his character like it was yesterday. I remember really enjoying it. And we went to the Storm Stadium in the summer of 1995, and Waylon Mercy was on the card. And I specifically, and we were front row. And I specifically remember Waylon Mercy coming down, going, "Thanks for coming out. Thank you, everybody." Like as he walked to the ring, and it was genius. And then we get in the ring, and he was just a vicious, violent, like man.
We came up with a character, the Waylon Mercy character. I'd never been a character, always been myself, and I was looking forward to it. And I enjoyed doing that character. I regret the fact that I wasn't in good health to finish the run with that. And it's one of my biggest things that bothered me, that I didn't really make it with the time of doing it.
And then when he would talk to the fans, he's like, "Thank you so much." Like, and it was
Too bad
just
that's
so
not the core memory.
it was
of
so
SummerSlam.
genius and ahead of its time, man. I really loved that character.
Too bad
Yeah,
that
I'm
wasn't the
surprised
core
Hogan
memory.
didn't say,
of
"Oh,
that.
I was going to put him over, brother." Then his hips.
Oh,
I fucking bad. I couldn't do it, brother. I said, "Vince, let's put the title on him, brother."
Oh!
Immediately,
Sorry.
brother.
Mercy was pushed upon his debut with victories over numerous enhancement talent, including a young Jeff Hardy, by the way, as well as established stars as Bob Holly, the 1-2-3 Kid, and Dwayne the Clown. Soon after, he competed in matches with top faces in the WWF, such as Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, and WWF World Heavyweight Champion Dessel. Sorry. Spivey's only pay-per-view appearance as Waylon Mercy was at In Your House 3, where he lost to Savio Vega, another underrated talent. We got to talk about him someday. That could be pages and pages of stuff.
Los Porricas.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Spivey defeated Diesel by countout in his last televised match. He retired from WWF in 95. As just talked about, the hips were just too much. He retired in 95 due to injuries overall. But after retiring, he briefly attempted to forge a career as a fashion model. I don't even want to know where that went. That is weird. He went to work for Spivey Underground Utility Construction Company, a construction company owned by his family. That's more like it. In 2014, Wyndham Rotunda revealed that his character of Bray Wyatt was given to him by Spivey, who was attending the WWE Performance Center at the time, and shares a number of similarities with the Waylon Mercy character.
Hey, you want to say something really scary? We live in a world where society has poisoned the souls of men. It hovers over them like a dark cloud, and they can't do anything about it, because they're just a regular, everyday working class. People like me, they get down on their hands and knees, and they whisper these little lies and secrets into their ears. But I have a secret of my own.
On August 1st of 2015, Spivey, at age 62, who hadn't wrestled since 95 due to injuries, returned to the ring for Dory Funk Jr.'s Bang promotion. Spivey and Funk worked a 10-man Japanese bonsai match. I don't even know how that turned out.
I don't even know what that is.
Spivey also voiced Mercy the Buzzard in Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse segments.
I did not know that. I had no idea until I read that.
On Waylon Mercy.
I actually never knew that either. Wow.
I didn't even know the puppet was based on Waylon Mercy either. I had no idea.
I hope they pick that back up. That's just a phenomenal little piece of that. That's great.
Oh man, if they actually make the characters real life, and if they brought him in for that, that'd be fucking awesome. Just to do promo work.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know that he went to rehab. He had a lot of substance issues, but I want to say he's been clean for a long time now. I mean, really, I want to do this episode because Waylon Mercy is such a crazy character that was so ahead of its time, and like I said, it was such a small time he was in there because his body couldn't hang in there. But man, it's so crazy that he influenced a major character now.
Oh man, we need to get him back. Back in there.
So
what's up with that fashion model and stuff?
I think a lot of hardcores would appreciate it, but I don't know if the today's casuals would even understand.
Yeah, because
I think if they had found value in it, I think somebody would have already done it by now. If that makes sense. I mean, Bray's got to stay healthy and stay in there, but and by the way, if this was like New Japan or if it was anywhere else where we make less movies and we want it more real, Dan Spivey would probably already be involved. It's just different. It's not the same thing. If it was AEW, you can see them going, yeah, let's bring Spivey in, let's pay him for a couple of nights and let's talk about that story. Let's build that story. Where WWE is like, no, we make our own story. If that makes sense? So I think it's less likely, unless it came from another venue, that he would venture in as the brain of the entire Wyatt segmentation. But I like it. I love the idea, but I don't think it runs with. It doesn't run with people of today that go, no, we're gonna build our own story. We don't need Dan Spivey. Like, you know what I mean? There's a sense of pride.
They need him.
Yeah, they need him.
He'll be their Jake the Snake. You know, like how Jake the Snake's in AEW.
Yeah. Mama, man.
Well, if it wasn't for Jake the Snake, we wouldn't have got 316. Am I right? Or am I?
Yeah, that's you're
and you
right.
thump your Bible, right?
Yep. You're absolutely.
It didn't get you anywhere.
Didn't get you anywhere.
We need Spivey to create the next.
I remember him being around at WrestleMania 2 and like all that stuff, and I remember him replacing Wyndham when Wyndham left for Crockett in the U.S. Express. I remember all that. And then I remember the Skyscrapers, like they were a good team or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting a lot of tapes on tape trading from All Japan Pro Wrestling where he was wrestling. I was like, oh, fucking, that's Dan Spivey. And like Dave Red too, he came back in 91, like his little singles run or whatever for not for WCW. So he'd always been popping up and around, but for some odd reason, like that Waylon Mercy character was like the first time I saw the vignettes, I was like, "This is awesome! Like, this is really
You know
fun."
you know what I'd really like to know. I don't think we answered it here. Was Waylon Mercy his idea, or was Waylon Mercy imposed upon him by the WWF to work?
I actually forget.
When it came back.
I think
Yeah, I don't
Vince
know.
did pitch it, right? Or no, because they
Oh.
said he came up with it because of what's his name? Al Pacino, right?
No,
Was the
Robert De
movie?
Niro.
Or Robert
Yeah,
De Niro.
the
Yeah, Robert
Cape
De Niro.
Fear. I'm doing a Cape Fear. Yeah.
So yeah. I don't think it really said on there. I don't know.
I'm gonna find out right now.
Yeah,
Take a look at it.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah, we've read through this pretty quick.
Spivey rejoined WWF in June '95, adopted the name Will of Mercy. Character based on, let's see. Character was introduced through a series of vignettes.
But whose idea was it?
Yeah, it doesn't really say.
Doesn't, huh? Man, that's the mystery in
Said that
itself.
he
Maybe
came back and he
Well,
came back
then-
as a character based
then
on.
so you take the story even further.
I'll get Bruce Pritchard on the phone. We'll find out.
You take the story even further. It's whoever created the story. This mystery person that created the story is the head of the cult.
Hey, Bruce.
That's true.
Waylon Mercy and
It's
Bray
a
Wyatt.
deeper storyline than we thought.
It goes. Oh my God! Imagine. Oh
Hey, Bruce, take your pills and tell me who developed the Waylon Mercy.
God.
Bruce, take your pills. All right. Too
Let's
much.
see. And Spivey was arrested on July 14th of 07 for driving under the influence.
Oh, that's when he made it.
He became sober in April of 09. He now owns
him?
his own company, Spivey Sober Companions.
Oh.
And in Stanford, based out of Stanford, Connecticut, Spivey is also the ambassador for breakfast restaurant chain, The Breakfast Station in Florida.
Ooh,
Wow.
that
Interesting.
sounds delicious.
I knew that he was. I knew he was
Wow.
working for a sober house or a company that was a sober house. I knew he was doing that too. So he's been sober since 09, from what I read
For
here.
him.
So that's great. That's fantastic, actually, because he's one of the many wrestlers that you go back and see. Unfortunately, fell into that whole madness of
Oh yeah.
pills and
Well,
pain.
you would
and-
argue the amount of pain he was in, right?
well, he was a big guy
Yeah, he's
too,
a big
and
guy,
you
yeah,
could
he's
see
big.
when he used to walk as Waylon Mercy, it was like he was hobbled a little bit too. So yeah, he was a
I'm sure
really big
football
dude,
didn't do
and he
favors.
wrestled some really tough matches in Japan too.
Yeah, exactly. All the
Yeah.
best wrestlers go.
That's what I heard. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud,
Wow.
iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Wow. Or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram at OWP2019 or, I'm sorry, OWP2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. For Uncle Cuz, this is the OWP signing off. Have a good one.